Stockholm, a city that during the day seems like the definition of calm and organization. But when the sun sets, the Swedish capital reveals a completely different side, wild, unpredictable, and full of excesses. If you think Swedes are reserved and calm, it's because you've never seen the dark side of the city. In Stockholm, the night hides secrets that go far beyond the impeccably clean streets and elegant houses. Here, the daily routine is interrupted by an explosion of energy. Stockholm's nightlife doesn't ask for permission to happen, it imposes itself. The neon lights reflect the most secret desires, while the streets become the stage for intense and sometimes short-lived encounters. The city that seems like a model of order during the day, at night transforms into a playground where the rules are different and the only thing that matters is what you want and who you're going to share that desire with. But what really happens when Stockholm's pubs and clubs start heating up? Does the city hide? A culture of endless parties? Or do the cold streets hold something even more intense? Get ready to discover how Stockholm's most hedonistic side emerges when the sun sets and the Swedes finally let loose. Today, we're going to live Stockholm's night, where desire meets freedom and impulse becomes routine. And what you'll see here, not every tourist notices. Only those who really venture into the city's nights know the game that's played between the bars, the sidewalks, and the bodies that meet in the darkness. And yes, you'll understand why Stockholm is considered one of the most libertine cities in Europe. Now, are you ready to uncover the true Stockholm at night? Södermalm is the beating heart of Stockholm's alternative nightlife. If you're looking for the cooler side of the city away from the luxuries of Stureplan, this is where it all happens. With its narrow streets and alleys lit by neon lights, Södermalm is the refuge of creatives, artists, and those seeking a no-frills night. The vibe here is laid back. Or back yet, the intensity is palpable. Don't expect a traditional atmosphere. Here, the night is a space for freedom, experimentation, and desire. The bars in Södermalm are not just places to drink. They are true temples of alternative music and unexpected encounters. If in other places dancing and flirting are formal, here spontaneity reigns. In the small bars and clubs, people get closer without ceremony. The gaze is direct and touch is more natural. There is no rush. There are no expectations. What starts with a simple smile can end up in something much bolder. Because here what matters is the instant connection. And if you think Stockholm's nightlife is just for those seeking luxury, think again. Södermalm embraces imperfection with style. It's here that the boldest people meet, where encounters are deeper and less labeled. With an underground club scene, secret parties, and live music, this neighborhood is the territory of those looking for something authentic, away from the conventions of Swedish society. It's the freedom to be who you are, without filters, without worries. Södermalm doesn't have the ostentation of other neighborhoods, but it's where the most intense and personal moments happen. While the rest of the city sleeps or hides in exclusive clubs, here is where Swedes really meet, explore, and give in to what the night has to offer. Desire here is not rushed, it's cultivated in the heat of conversations, in stolen glances, and in the music that touches the depths of the soul. In Södermalm, the night is a story that only those who dare live to tell. Now, if you think Stockholm's night is all freedom and underground, it's time to meet Stureplan. This is the neighborhood where exclusivity reigns, where ostentation blends with a dose of sophisticated hedonism. In Stureplan, the doors of the trendiest clubs are sealed by imposing security guards, and the first impression is clear. If you don't have something to offer, you don't get in. Here, it's not just the drinks that are expensive, but the access to. The true experience of the night. Inside the clubs and bars of Stureplan, the scene is pure luxury. The lights shine in a hypnotic way. Bottles of champagne are opened with pomp, and the sound of electronic music flows like an endless stream. People move gracefully. But behind the masks of socialites and local celebrities, there is a constant game of power, seduction, and status. The night here is not just about having fun. It's about showing off, being seen, and, of course, savoring every second of your position in the social hierarchy. The behavior in Stureplan is a dance between desire and control. Interactions are carefully calculated. Everyone knows what they want, but few are as explicit as in alternative bars. The flirting here is a game of status, where charm mixes with caution, and sex, when it happens, has a taste of exclusivity. In Stureplan, it's not just about enjoying the night, but living it as a unique opportunity to affirm your position in society. But ostentation comes at a price. The luxury in Stureplan may seem attractive, but in many cases, it's just a cover to hide the insecurities and power games that unfold every moment. Here, desire is not free and loose like in Södermalm. It's regulated, manipulated, and consumed in measure. But still, those who venture here know that at the end of the night, glamour can be the prelude to something much more libertine. The trick is not to let it show. At first glance, Swedes seem to be a cold, distant, reserved people. You see people walking down the streets with serious expressions, no rush, no sign of emotion. But don't be fooled. When the night falls, Stockholm reveals a completely different side. What seemed like calm and composure during the day, at night transforms into a flame of repressed desire, ready to explode. The behavior on the streets of Stockholm, especially in areas like Södermalm and Stureplan, is a mix between control and impulse, and that's what makes the city so fascinating. On the sidewalks, you can see scenes that seem contradictory to the Swedes' demeanor. Couples kissing, groups dancing to electronic music in the streets, and glances that exchange more than words. It's as if, at dusk, the city sheds its social chains and gives in to a temporary freedom. The coldness of the Swedes disappears with the touch of alcohol, and what remains is a society that knows how to have fun intensely, but without losing control. It's contained desire, a silent intensity that takes shape on the dark streets of Stockholm. Stockholm at night is full of contrasts. What once seemed like a city of self-control now reveals itself as a playground for those seeking something more. Shameless pleasure, desire without commitment. Here, on the streets, physical contact is immediate and unashamed. Women and men approach naturally, and flirting is direct. There's no hesitation, just the will to enjoy the moment. Perhaps the secret is precisely this duality. The city watches you coldly during the day and challenges you to live intensely at night. This behavior on the streets isn't just about the drink or the party context. It's about the Swedish culture of breaking the norms without making a fuss. In Stockholm, moderation during the day turns into an explosion of pleasure when night falls. The streets are not just a path to the bar. They are the stage where desires cross, where social conventions break down, and where every encounter becomes an ephemeral and intense story. Stockholm doesn't judge impulses, it embraces them, allowing intensity to emerge without restrictions. In Stockholm, the women of the night don't follow the rules, they rewrite them. If you're in any of the most popular bars or clubs, you'll notice they're in control, whether in their gaze, posture, or the way they move. Unlike many other places in the world, here, women aren't just waiting for an opportunity to have fun. They are actively creating their own opportunities. And in the realm of desire, they dominate with total freedom and unwavering confidence. Flirting in Stockholm has a different energy when women are in charge. There's no room for subtlety. They know what they want and aren't afraid to go after it. The night is a reflection of female empowerment in Stockholm. Women don't hide or limit themselves. They do what they want, with who they want, and without guilt. The game of seduction here is open and without barriers. Swedish women are imposing, determined, and, above all, know how to enjoy every second of the night. What makes the woman of Stockholm so unique in the city's nightlife is her freedom of choice. There's no room for judgment. She can be bold and still maintain her autonomy and respect. The women of Stockholm don't wait for permission to live their experiences. They are the protagonists of this nocturnal narrative, and their presence commands any space. Desire here isn't just something they offer, it's something they consume with total pleasure and control. This confidence and assertiveness don't come from nowhere. They are a reflection of a society that, from an early age, teaches women that there are no limits to what they can achieve. Stockholm's night is a mirror of that. Women dominate the scene with ease, turning the city into their own playground of desire and freedom. And those lucky enough to cross paths with them at night understand that the true energy of the city lies in their power to choose, command, and, most importantly, give in. Desire is expressed openly, without shame, and without the taboos that many other places still carry. Whether in bars, on the streets, or at parties, casual sex happens naturally. It's not a hidden secret, nor a late-night conquest. For Stockholmers, it's just another part of the social experience. Impulse becomes routine, and routine becomes part of the pleasure. But what really stands out in Stockholm is the way people approach casual sex without the emotional baggage that comes with it in other places. Here, the encounter doesn't need to be romantic or definitive. It can just be a glance and a body, where pleasure is the only goal. And the most interesting part is that there's no space for judgment. Both men and women give in to these experiences with the same ease. There are no expectations, no regrets, just the here and now. In Stockholm, casual sex isn't seen as something superficial, but as a legitimate expression of human desire. What many would call a one-night adventure here is just another piece of the nightlife. Alcohol helps loosen the bodies, but it's Swedish culture that allows everything to happen with such freedom. In every corner of the city, you'll see people giving in to the moment without fear of tomorrow. Pleasure is accepted, celebrated, and lived without excuses or justifications. And the most curious thing? The next day brings no regret. On the contrary, casual sex in Stockholm is an experience without pain, without resentment. It's simply part of the night journey, where pleasure mixes with freedom and guilt never enters the scene. What's experienced in Stockholm's night has no moral weight. Instead, there's a genuine acceptance that desire is human, natural, and meant to be lived intensely. And if you can't handle that, perhaps Stockholm isn't the place for you. When the sun starts to rise over Stockholm, the city seems to return to its usual calm, but those who live the night can't forget what happened in the past hours. Unlike many cities where the after-party is marked by regrets and questioning, here the hangover comes with a relaxed smile. The streets, now quiet, are invaded by tired bodies, but without guilt. In Stockholm, what happens at night doesn't just stay in memory. It stays in the feeling of freedom, and there's no shame in living intensely. In the cafes and small bistros scattered around the city, groups gather for breakfast, casually talking about the craziness of the previous night. There are no heavy words, no criticism or awkward laughter. What happened was a shared experience, and nothing more. For Stockholmers, the night isn't a moment of shame, but of celebration. The pleasure lived dissolves into the lightness of the following morning, without the need for explanations. And yet, this post-party calm is not a sign of regret. On the contrary, it's a reflection of a culture that has learned to live in the now without waiting for tomorrow. In Stockholm, the night is intense, but the next morning is just another chapter in the journey. The hangover carries no moral weight. It's simply the body saying it needs rest after a well-lived night. And that's how the city deals with excesses, without guilt, without questioning, only with the acceptance that life is made of these moments. The feeling of freedom in Stockholm doesn't fade when the sun rises. On the contrary, it stays alive in the memory of the bodies, the conversations, the exchanged glances. And, in the end, the true beauty of Stockholm lies in the ability to live the now without constraints, without shame, without hurry. The hangover in Stockholm is just the sign of a night well lived. And what happened last night? Well, it will continue to be lived in memory without any regret.